Okay, this is a recording for what would day was it? The 31 March. I kind of had to go backwards and do some stuff in Java this weekend. So I guess I'm just going to show that off because I don't actually have too much web dev to be able to display. So I had made a last week I had made like a Connect 4 game, and then this week I made a um, computer player to be able to go against, and it's just literally Connect 4. So like let's say you choose a column, and then the computer automatically goes. There's a lot of stuff that we could do definitely better, um, but it was really interesting to be able to logically think about how the computer would like try to beat a human, and then like what are kind of point systems that would make it, what's the word, like like what, like how does a computer know that like move A is better than move B? And it's absolutely not perfect, and I say that as it won from doing this stupid diagonal move. But the interesting thing and fun thing about it was that I I am really bad at refactoring code. Um, and this was all about refactoring. So to be able to do it, I um, made a Connect 4, yeah, a Connect 4 computer player who extends player, and then he doesn't have actually too much going on, but I did make a static inner class that has all the logic in there. I was thinking about actually decoupling and making it go further out, but um, it kind of made sense to go there. And then let's see, like it once again, like the refactoring really is just what got me. And I was running into multiple problems and realizing that it was like, oh yeah, that's right. That's why we test while we program versus afterwards, because I was doing a lot of screwed up stuff. And I'll show what else I was doing. Let me pause. All right, some more Java that I was working on. Um, was just testing insertion sort versus shell sort. Shell sort's really interesting in the fact that like the most expensive thing about insertion sort is, maybe I should show like a picture of what it does. But basically insertion sort's just like I have all this sorted data, it's good to go, and then it sees like the next thing, it's like, oh, you actually belong over here, and then we know the next part is all sort it. And then it looks at the next index and it's like, oh, you actually belong over here. So it kind of does that where it makes it finds out where the very next index is supposed to be and sort it. Versus shell sort realizes that the like insertion sort's weakest point is when what happens when like things are really far away and it has to be moved over. Um, so those larger space operations are what makes things expensive, or it's kind of like two nested loops where it's like n square. And so this one is just comparing shell sort and insertion sort when under various conditions, to include when things are already sorted and when half of the list is sorted and half the list is unsorted or completely randomized. So it took me a little bit to figure out how to actually generate it. But like for example, if we handed a list of 30,000, um, it's going to run a list of 30,000, and it's actually going to also run a list of 60,000 under all the conditions. Um, so let's see if it works. Okay, good. Um, so you can think of these as powers of n, or like how fast things grow. It seems really off. I wonder why. Yeah, that makes sense. Actually no. It's being real weird right now. I don't know if it's because I got other background processes, because it's actually doing a instead of figuring things out like mathematically, it's figuring it out by just benchmarking. So like this one really should be closer to a one. So I have to actually relook into it because it's already a sorted an array, and it should just be able to be like you're all good, and then a shell sort should would do the same, but at more of like an n log n time. Otherwise, this weekend, the only thing that I worked on with web development was really trying to understand route parameters with React. Um, and it's basically like the way that you would, like you would usually hyperlink to something like google.com, but it's like, what if you needed to go to Google slash something specifically? Um, we can start sending it dynamically through like stuff like this, where it's like the back tick and it's like link to. Um, and let's see, I forgot. Is that the way? No, it's not the way you capture it. The way you actually capture it. Hopefully, I have the information on there. Uh, well, okay. Well, I have to look at it again. But on the flip side, you also have to be able to tell your router that you're also, well, your custom router, that you're also expecting it to come in through that way. And I believe it was like a colon slash something that let it know that it should be expecting some parameters. So it's interesting, but I have some more work to do on that, and I'm very excited to jump back into web dev this week. Thanks. Oh, and then I guess to discuss the three things that we were always supposed to talk about. Um, what did I identify with this weekend was absolutely refactoring old code. It gets really painful to go back in and without proper documentation and proper comments and proper like modularization. All of a sudden, be like, I don't know how to. Like, you feel like you're once again like cutting the red wire, cutting the blue wire, trying to get in there and get something done. So it was a good lesson to relearn. And what did we do? What did I do for the community? Not really a ton. Like Friday, talked to some people about some of the fun things like the anonymous functions, and like where would it be used? Why would it be used? And I think that kind of like talk about like not just what, oh gosh, what you're doing, but like how you're doing it is really exciting. I think that's at least fun to me. Um, but yay, new week.